Hello, just wanted to give you a quick update on the health situation. So I had my phone counsel on the update on whether the Dupixent was approved and who was going to cover it. So they gave me the information that it was approved because I hadn't even heard that the last week sometime, just didn't know the amount. So he actually said that the Dupixent was approved and I would um, my cost would be $200. However, if I qualified because of need, then that would be covered. So right now, what I need to do is provide information, my what do you call it, the 1040 return, the Social Security statements, whatever, the 1099s from retirement, whatever incomes I have, and to see if I even qualify. I have a funny feeling that the monies that my husband and I both make will disqualify me because the number that he gave me, I'm like, yeah, I gotta go look at my paperwork because right now I can't even remember. I mean, just filed the tax return. I'm like, what was on my tax return for the dollar amounts? Because why would I obtain that information without doing the math? So I gotta gather that information just to see if we qualify. The amount's a decent amount, but it's still thinking, I bet you we're just a tad over that dollar amount, which means I won't qualify. I make too much money. I've run into this a lot for stuff like that. But usually the dollar amounts are way lower, and I already know. Now I'm not even going to look the information up because I'm making more. So this one, we'll see. So in any case, we'll see how God's going to work that if He has blessed me with more money than I qualify to get financial aid. So in the meantime, while we've been waiting for their call, last week I had that second opinion appointment that I told you about with the doctor, and a different doctor, an allergist, and he agreed with my pulmonologist for the Dupixent, but he said one thing about the Dupixent, I can't even say the word, Dupixent, that even right, even, man, verbiage. Dupixent, it will clear up my sinuses and the polyps that I might have in there, because I have had a polyp surgery back in 2017, and they had even said that they have a tendency to grow back, so who knows. And so what the doctor already has seen it just from a general look-see in the nose without even going real deep like an ENT does. They can see that I got something on the left, at least one. But anyway, Dupixent will clear up the sinus issues, because the sinus issues is what drips down and causes lung issues, pneumonia and whatnot, for which I've always had several times. So anyway, so the Dupixent would clear up the sinus issues, the polyps, and then the lungs. They said the issue with that one is, because everything has a side effect, is it may not happen with me, but the doctor was concerned about the fact that since my eosinophils are so high, and that's the purpose of us taking this biologics, is to bring down my eosinophils number in the blood. He said, but that particular medication may also have a tendency to make those numbers go up. We want the numbers to go down. So he's like, I love that particular medication, but for you, because of your unusual situation, we're not so sure. So he's preferring that we do Nucala. So that particular medication does the same thing, clears out the sinuses, the polyps, and the lungs, but its goal is to bring the eosinophils numbers down to 0. That's better. That's the goal, to get my numbers down. So then that would help me in all kind of ways if my allergen numbers are down in my bloodstream. So now we have to wait for the insurance to approve that another 2 weeks. Because I can imagine insurance companies were like, man, we just approved this other one, and now you're talking about this other medication. Now we got to go through that. So I don't know if there's a big price difference, or, however that works for the insurance company. So we know it's all about money. And then when I was talking to the guy about the financial stuff, I said, well, what would that be? He said, well, I won't know until it depends on what the insurance company wants to pay for. But he says he got a funny feeling that the part that I would need to pay is still probably about $200. So that's the prayer that that the $200 get eliminated, because it's not like either one, it'll still probably be in the 200 range. Because like I said, without me going to look at my numbers, I got a funny feeling I make too much money. God has blessed us with more money than he just blessed us with a lot of money, and that's more than what qualifies for financial aid. That's the only disadvantage, about being in the middle income people. It's not often you could get any kind of financial aid. That's just the way it rolls. So, so we'll see. So now we gotta wait 2 more weeks ish to find out if the insurance company will do the Nucala instead of the Pixin, and if that $200 applies for me for that too. Who knows? Maybe they'll be like, "Oh, we'll pay the whole thing." It'd be nice if that one finds out that it's cheaper, and I'm like, "Oh, don't worry about the 200. We'll cover all of it." Hey, that's what I'm praying for. Anyway, so God's gonna work it out in any case. So we'll just know which one is gonna be in a couple of weeks, and I'll update you whenever that comes. Oh, in the future. So here we are. That's my situation now. So I want to add this thing. I don't know if any of you read my weekly devotionals, because yesterday I wrote a weekly devotional that happened on Easter about these turtle doves, these mourning doves that have been eyeing us and allowing us to eye them, because I could see that the female was, she was just full of life. She was getting ready to pop any minute. It's like, oh wow, I wonder where they're putting their nest. We've been watching them, trying to figure out where their nest is. We know it's close by. And then one of them, the female, I'm thinking either female or male at that point, because I started thinking when I first saw it, like, well, maybe she has popped, and she probably had, because she was thin then. So was in our bush at our window, looking in us through the window. And she just stood there. She was watching us instead of us watching her, because she just sat on her picnic table and let us watch her, because she was so full, like she was chilling, like, oh my God, this load is so heavy. So like, you're watching her. This time, no, she was at our window, really eyeballing us. And I'm like, and every time I have encounter with nature, I'm always saying, okay, God, you're talking to me, you give me some positive vibes, encouraging me. And doves are supposed to be symbols of peace. So I already knew that he was just reminding me, I'm here for you. I'm here. Just gotta wait it out. It's his timing. So we went outside in our backyard just to look at our garden, because we're setting up our garden for the year. And I was looking at the fire pit, because we had saw those same two turtle. I don't know why I want to say turtle doves. I gotta figure out what's going on with that turtle doves. I looked that up, like, what the heck? But anyway, these mourning doves was checking out our fire pit, and I was thinking, oh no, they're not putting a net there. I mean, that's there because it's around, they'll be vulnerable, and they usually are up high in a tree or in a building. So I checked out the fire pit just out of curiosity, and I just saw the normal sticks and twigs. We thought, okay, they're probably just getting nesting material for the nest. And then just like a highlight magazine, something just popped out. I saw a baby dove sitting there, mourning dove sitting there on one of the logs. And it was sitting still like a statue, because it knew, oh crap, they see me. And I said, yeah, you're in a bad zone. We looking around, we're like, oh, no cats come, because we're not in a good space. But you could hear parents squawking at us, like, warning us, and probably telling the baby, don't move, because it was not moving. We took all kind of pictures all around it. It didn't move a muscle. So walked away from that, so I could just leave it alone, because it looked like it was about 2 weeks old, which meant it was in its learning how to fly stage. So obviously it flew out of the nest, and now I was sitting there trying to figure out, what do I do now? How do I get off the ground and back into the air? Because coming down, gravity helps you fly, but to go from ground up, that's some skill. Not going to use the wings. So we were like, wow, this is so cool to see a baby mourning dove. So like, okay, God, you really are just sending this message of total peace and not to worry. Just like it says in Matthew 6, I'm not going to quote the scripture, but the scripture in Matthew 6 tells you not to worry about tomorrow. Just seek the kingdom first, and he will work it out for you, because he's taking care of the birds in the air and all that stuff, and they don't do anything. It just exists, and God just handle it. So here we got skills to do stuff. We don't have to worry. Just be like a bird. Don't worry, and let him handle my health situation. So see you next Monday. So next Monday and the following Monday, we're going to be talking about my Bible study fellowship, because I'm a member of Bible study fellowship. So I'm going to talk to you about how I love being in Bible study fellowship, because that is getting ready to end for this particular term. And then I'm going to also talk to you about, It just went right out of my head. I'm going to also talk to you about, oh my gosh, Bible study fellowship. Oh, how do I have my, I said it has something to do with the Bible. We're going to talk about my quiet times, how important it is to have quiet times every morning in what I particularly do. Not how it should be done, because there's no such thing as having a way to do a quiet time, because quiet time is a time you have every day with the Lord, and it's based on you and Him. So I'm going to just talk to you about how I have my quiet times, what happens on my quiet times, and then it's just a way, not the way. You have to determine how your quiet times with God is going to be, because it's you and Him. She can tell now, like it's you and your girlfriend, you and your boyfriend, whoever, and what you guys do. It's not the same. So that's what we're going to be talking about the next couple of Sundays, Mondays, Bible study fellowship, and personal quiet time, and the importance of having that. So I'll see you in a few weeks when you get to hear all that. See you later. Have a great